So let's get more reaction to this and speak to Andy Mitten, who's been editor for United Stand for over a decade and doesn't miss much up there in the Northwest. Andy, thanks so much for coming on. Good news for Manchester United that at least they've got some clarity now on their supporters. Yeah, the clarity is good news, and I think it's what most fans wanted. In various polls, between 75 and 85% of Manchester United fans wanted Erik Ten Hag to stay. They were conducted after the FA Cup final win. You wouldn't have had such high rates had they been conducted after the 4-0 defeat at Palace at the start of last month. But yeah, positive in the eyes of most supporters and clarity going forward because it was taking a couple of weeks and an important part of the year, even though there's no football for any football club. They've got to be planning the squad for the next season, and it's not just Erik Ten Hag. There are coaches around him who didn't know whether they would have a job beyond the end of the month. So clarity all around, and the fans are still on a buzz after the FA Cup final win because it was so unexpected, and that will hopefully linger on throughout the summer. And then Manchester United simply must improve next year. There's not a chance Erik Ten Hag would keep his job if Manchester United finished 8th next season, and there was a lot of mitigation with the injuries, and I think Ineos took that into account. But I think there's quite a positive mood around Manchester United today, and yesterday it was starting to become quite anxious. I was going to say, no chance that they'll keep him if they finish 8th, as you say. Does that mean that this new contract is important, or would you hold off on offering that if you were the new ownership structure? I think there's talk of a new contract because that allays fears that the manager is going to lose his job at the first opportunity. He will know as well as anybody that Manchester United need to start winning football matches and not losing as many times as they did last season. 1 win in 6 in the Champions League, 5 defeats in December, and then slipping to 8 by the end of the season. As it transpired, United will play European football next year in the Europa League, which is probably more where the club's level is at the moment than winning the Champions League. I don't think the team's going to win the Premier League next year either, and nor does Erik Ten Hag. He said that, but there needs to be a significant improvement, and if there isn't, I feel that you'd get a situation similar to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, which was November-October, similar to Jose Mourinho. He lost his job in the December, and Erik Ten Hag will know that, and he knows that Ineos have looked at other managers. The Manchester United job will always be desirable to other managers. Other managers may become available in the time as well, but for the moment I think the vast majority of fans are behind Erik Ten Hag doing well again, hoping that he doesn't have the injuries of last season, hoping that it's a summer of positive recruitment, and maybe moving on some of the players, some of whom have already left, who haven't been contributing enough, and then you get a bit of pre-season optimism. But his team have to start the season well, because right from the start last year, it was worrying when Wolves came to Old Trafford and played a full-strength Manchester United, and even though they lost the game, they were by far the best team. Stuff like that will see the mood slump among fans. How long a contract would you offer him then, Nolan? I think if he's doing a good job, then he carries on staying and does a good job. I wouldn't obsess about whether he signs a new contract or not. I think there's more pressing matters than him signing a new contract, and that is getting United winning football matches again, and what's realistic for next year, it's probably top 4. No one will complain about another cup win, and Erik Ten Hag's delivered 2 cups. Manchester United have gone 6 years before a cup in 23, another cup in 24, more of the same. Keep bringing the young players through. He's done really well with Alessandro Garnacho, with Kobbie Mainoo. He is a resilient person. I think he's an honest person. I think he's trusted by the people who he works with. Of course, there's issues. I'm not going to pretend that the mood within that dressing room is as high as it could be, but that comes with the team struggling, and as the team wins, and it's all about wins, everything else is secondary, then people can start talking more seriously about another contract. Jose Mourinho signed his in January 18th. By the end of the year, he was out of a job, so I just wouldn't read too much into it. And I think that Erik knows there's always going to be pressure around managing a club like Manchester United, and if he's doing well, if he's hitting the targets, he'll get offered another contract, because there's not that much appetite to continue changing the manager. Fans have been sick of it, and also from a financial perspective, just getting rid of him given the constraints with financial fair play rules that was an issue for Manchester United as well. And there's of course this new structure in place next season, Andy, so is Ten Hag's life going to be easier? Do you feel he'll have more stability around him? So that was one of the big mitigating circumstances as well, I suppose, all the change behind the scenes. Well, that didn't help him last year, and a year ago we didn't know whether it was going to be Ineos or a Qatari-led bid, and that didn't help, and he's had lots of left-field things to deal with, which was certainly not his making, from dealing with player issues such as Mason Greenwood, and then the strategic review. Hopefully that has all passed now. Hopefully his injuries will not be as severe as they have been. Hopefully there will be a better football structure at Manchester United. But this is an idealized version. This is what fans hope. So every time there's somebody loses the job, fans are like, okay, out with the old, in with the new, everything's going to be great. Doesn't necessarily work like that either. Ineos talks about best-in-class appointments. Great, bring them on and let them show that they're the best in class, but there's been complications there. Omar Barada starts working amongst time. Dan Ashworth, we don't know when he's going to start work at Manchester United, so it's been complicated to this point, and there's been a lot of change at the club. I've been covering Manchester United for 35 years, since I was a kid, and I have never seen so many changes at a club where there's always changes. That's been the constant. As this year you're talking, I think 7 of the 9 senior management positions have changed within the last couple of months, and some of them people were very good at the jobs, and the new people have got to come in and be even better at the jobs, and I hope they succeed. I hope everything's absolutely fine at Manchester United, but history has taught me to be slightly circumspect. Andy, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a good summer ahead of next season. Thank you.